the last segment we did cover how AOC endorses Joe Biden. She fully far gone. She fully part of the NATO left. And like we already know, because people were not allowed to talk about mandates, COVID vaccines, or any of this stuff. And I want to say, just for the YouTube doctors and scientists watching, RBN believes the vaccine is safe and effective. RBN believes that everyone should take the vaccine. RBN believes that no one should ever question authority at any given time. We are just commentating on the story as neutral observers. We are not inputting our topics on the vaccine. So why did I say this? So AOC, because the only way she gets asked a tough question is if like a citizen journalist yanks them out of a crowd, right? Like whenever you see Max Blumenthal, whenever you see Dan Cohen. I actually don't know who shot this video where they asked this question with her. So they asked AOC about the mandates that every true leftist should be against, that the ACLU was against, Professor Richard Wolff was against, because it was clear to me that it was anti-worker. And I reached that position anecdotally because I knew people were fired because of mandates. And hell, I told you guys about my apolitical mom, right? My mom, who's famously apolitical, like she don't give a fuck about politics. It's almost unbelievable in the way she don't care. I'm almost like, you guys don't care about nothing. Look, my mom don't give a shit. She was a single mom raising 3 kids. She cannot give a shit about this stuff. But my mom, being apolitical as she is, she knew someone that was fired in her company who she liked because they refused to get the vaccine. They wanted to impose their own body sovereignty, which we believe as leftists because we believe in my body, my choice. We believe that, right? I thought we did. So this person my mom knew lost her job because of the vaccine mandates, and my mom said some shit that made me fucking. My mom was like, I told you guys at the time. My mom was like, man, I think it's fucked up that these people are firing people because they refuse to get the vaccine. The first political statement I heard her made in years. So my mom, who was completely outside the influence of the Democratic Party, Republican Party, she naturally reached the conclusion like, yo, this shit is fucked up. You guys shouldn't be forcing people to take vaccines. And if you ask people in the black community, most black people will tell you the same goddamn thing. Nigga, nobody in the hood would trust this goddamn vaccine. Even though YouTube scientists, we should have, because YouTube scientists, we all know the vaccine is safe and effective, but there's some people who didn't believe that. So it was obvious that implementing mandates is an extremely anti-worker policy because when you look at the professional managerial class, the boutique left, the petit bourgeois, they usually had to follow such orders. They didn't want to implement those orders. They thought there's a lot of workarounds around it. And the ACLU, their statement 10 years ago was that vaccine mandates are inherently harmful to workers. Then the COVID happened, then they completely changed their position. So I had Howie Hawkins on the show, which is why thank God there's rumors that he's not running no more. Joe Stein is
please.
Because I asked him this question. I asked him, if there's a single mother who gets fired because she refused to go with the vaccine mandates and she's unable to feed her kids, are you okay with that? And Howie Hawkins was like, I don't care. I damn near told him get the fuck off my show. I was so disgusted. Because I'm like, how are you as a leftist don't care that a single mother could be fired over something like this? And to me, it was always clear that vaccine mandates are only there to increase the profits of Big Pharma that made $1,000 per second. You know why they made $1,000 per second? Because they mandated a fucking vaccine. So it's about profit. They didn't give a fuck about you. So anyway, I ran enough. I want to preface the story properly. So AOC was asked about her position about mandates. So let's hear what the working class fighter, socialist AOC, after it says in regard to a very obvious workers mandate. So let's check this out. So this person is going to ask AOC about how she feels about health workers coming back after being fired with mandates, because there have been multiple studies that showed that vaccine mandates was completely unnecessary. You got companies all over the nation that lift these things. And now that we know, I gotta be careful what I fucking say here. But if I'm gonna say like this, so the theory is, I gotta be very careful. The theory is, why would, and YouTube, once again, I'm just repeating the theory. The theory is, it literally makes no sense to mandate a vaccine that does not prevent and stop infection and transmission of COVID-19. There's a deeply authoritarian argument to be made But there is an argument to be made that if a vaccine that stops a pandemic or stops a virus, it makes sense mandating that vaccine in order to stop the virus. If you have an effective vaccine, that's deeply authoritarian. I wouldn't be for that, but at least there's an argument that at least it makes sense that we mandate this thing that stops. No, they mandated a vaccine that, based on theories, YouTube, did not even stop the spread of the COVID-19 virus. What sense did that make? It makes none. So a lot of people are realizing this. There's a giant COVID reckoning going on right now. So AOC has asked this question in response of this COVID reckoning where people are realizing, damn, between mandates, between lockdowns, we really fucked this shit up. So this reckoning is happening. Let's see what AOC's response to this is.
Yeah, local reporter just heard me. She has one question.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good to see you.
Good to see you. How's it going?
So I want to ask you this question because you're such a strong supporter of labor rights, civil rights, bodily autonomy. All of these issues come together with the issue of New Yorkers who lost their jobs during the pandemic due to mandates.
Due to the mandates.
And there's still a lot of those people who have not been reinstated, who want to be reinstated. What is your position on that? Would you support reinstating those New York City workers and state workers who lost employment under the mandates and want to go back to work?
Yeah, well, I believe the mayor had lifted many of those mandates towards the end of some of these shutdowns. But I think a lot of it, frankly, depends on the environment. In healthcare environments that are very sensitive, educational environments, I think these are things that need to kind of be looked at, and they tend to have different healthcare requirements per sector.
So those workers,
that was one question, my dear. I'm so sorry.
Not reinstated.
I'm so sorry. That was the one.
And
I think
this
it depends on the
sanitation workers.
I'm so sorry.
So that's her answer. It took her a long time to get it out, but she said it depends on the sector, which essentially saying no. No. So the problem was that we were short-staffed on healthcare workers, and we had shortage of hospital beds. One of the reasons why there were shortages of healthcare workers is the fact that they get put mandates on these healthcare workers, despite the fact that the NYPD, police, and the military had a lot of mandates waived. So healthcare workers forced to have mandates. Police, military, not forced to have mandates. So what AOC is saying is, after panicking, if you want to psychoanalyze this interview, we could. But for the sake of time, you gotta see how she's smiling. Oh yeah, she's talking about labor rights. I know you're an advocate of labor rights, right? In the working class. Yeah. Then what about mandates? Then you see her tone completely change.
Yes.
When she's asked about mandates. And this is the part that's most disgusting because she pulls the Rashid Tlaib. She pulls the Ilhan Omar. She pulls the new strategy from the progressive-led politicians, which mirrors the establishment. Look at what happens when she is grilled on this.
They tend to have different healthcare requirements per sector.
So those workers,
that was one question, my dear. I'm so sorry.
Not reinstated.
I'm so sorry.
And
I think
this
it depends on the
sanitation workers,
I'm so sorry.
city workers.
We did the one. I'm so sorry.
I think it depends on the sector.
What the
That's
fucking point?
Disgusting. That is fucking disgusting, man.
That's so fucking. I want to get your thoughts on this too, CJ.
Like you. So you have your muscle on the side to come in and cut off. Oh, we gotta go. Sorry, that was a question. Can she finish the answer? She's a labor advocate, but she can't finish the answer about labor.
Yes.
You don't think this person can hear? My boss is not able to answer this question. I just heard the word salad, and she completed the word salad. Oh, you want to follow up? Oh, no, you don't. You're not getting any follow up to have to pull her, to have to pin her down to how she's not for labor. And that's what this person is here to do. But you know how they do it? They do it with a smile. I'm sorry. Yep. We got this. We got that. It's literally going to take 5 seconds for her to say whether or not she's down with it or not. But this is my other point about this. You know how disgusting it is, Nick, that you're a leftist and you can, with a straight face, easily answer that. That's literally two words. Yes. Hell fucking yes. Or what, in the affirmative for workers. I can't remember what the question was. But the fact that you're trying to you're trying to weasel your way. She's trying to weasel her way to not be perceived as not being against the worker when she is. She doesn't want to come out and say that though. So she has to. This is why she has to use a lot of word salad. You notice when she transitioned from being like the outsider to now, why did her word salad, her instances of word salad literally skyrocket? Yep. It's her trying to maneuver and not answer questions to show where she really stands. That is freaking disgusting. As a leftist, Nick, we will be out with a bullhorn saying, yes, no, don't be doing this to workers. No, hire them back and give them back pay and doing this. That's so easy to answer. But she has fully crossed over into the establishment that she knows she can't do that. That is pretty disgusting. Go ahead.
We mentioned this with the Tim Pool Rashid Tlaib video, but what kind of fucking leftist dodges the media? Now, you guys realize the biggest struggle that leftists face is getting our message out there? Look at all the people who refuse to interview RBN. Nigga, I want Tim Pool to go ahead. I dare you, motherfucker. I dare Tim Pool to try to catch me and I got you. I want the platform because if you're a leftist, you should be 100% confident in your ideology. We are fighting for the workers. We had the moral right, and we got the Marxist science behind our back. We are fighting against an unjustifiable, corrupt government. Anyone who sticks a microphone in my face, I don't want to talk to. You guys, that's my policy. Have I been on a bunch of different shows, a ton of different shows, a lot of them you guys haven't seen, a ton of different shows. Because as a leftist, as someone who is an advocate for worker, any opportunity I have to speak is a positive. Meanwhile, here's AOC running away from a reporter. Even if it's a right-wing reporter trying to get you on a got you, I'm like, nigga, I'm about to serve you. How you gonna try to get me on a got you? Nigga, you made the biggest mistake of your life interviewing me. That should be the mentality. Imagine Alex Jones, Fox News, Dave Rubin, Ben Shapiro trying to call Rome out. CJ, can you imagine?
Get out of here.
They try to get Rome on a got you, nigga. He would spit some shit that they don't want their audience to hear. So you as a leftist running away from the media is fucking embarrassing. Embarrassing.
What was this video take? I don't think I've seen it. I never heard this video out. Is this new or is this?
The date of this tweet is July 7th. So I think this is relatively new.
Okay.
This is in our town hall in the Hunts Point section of the Bronx on July 9th. So man, AOC get on the town hall. So I want you guys to see this again. Man, the passive aggressiveness of liberals and how much they despise the free press. And I'm asking you guys this question. What is the fucking point? This is regarding Marianne Williamson and the fucking softball interviews that the Vanguard and Breaking Points do with her as well. My question I keep asking people is, what's the fucking point of a question without a follow-up? The point of a question is for the follow-up. So AOC gives a word salad that's obviously full of shit. So this person, this scumbag white liberal Karen motherfucker, prevents the follow-up, which is exactly the point of journalism. The question without follow-up is useless. Imagine if you asked George W. Bush about the Iraq war. And then George W. Bush is like, man, I waged the war in Iraq because God told me to. That's what he said before. He said, I waged the war in Iraq because God told me to. Trust me, we liberated Iraq. We found the weapons of mass destruction. All right, I'm done with questions. He leaves. Nigga, what the fuck did you just accomplish then? You asked him about the war in Iraq. Then once he said the other bullshit, you had to follow. Hey, what you said is not true. Can you clarify? The follow-up is literally everything when it comes to not just.
And they know that.
Meanwhile, AOC and her team is like, you get one question and no follow-up. Why do you think they make that rule? So AOC, just like Marianne Williamson, they can bullshit you, and then when you ask a follow-up, you're rude. You're rude. Like apparently I'm a mansplainer to Marianne Williamson. Apparently Marianne Williamson supporters think I'm rude because of the way I treated her, because I didn't allow her to spill a bunch of bullshit without follow-ups. Questions, no matter how hard, you can ask someone the hardest fucking question in the world. Hey man, I heard you have rape allegations on you. What's up with that? Then he said, oh no, the rape allegations not true. I actually was at the club. No one saw me do it. Then you don't have to follow up? That question wasn't hard. No matter what question you have, if there's no follow-up, it doesn't mean anything. But I'm not blaming the reporter in this instance. I'm blaming AOC and her security guard because they know that fact, right? So I'm going to play that part again. Because this part
why doesn't AOC do this? Because this is what a leftist would do. If this was you, Nick, if you were AOC and you had somebody, you would go, hold on. I can answer this. I can answer this. Hell yeah, I'm for the worker and blah, blah, blah. That's all she has to do. And they're trying to act like it's the number of questions and not what she's saying. You're being so disingenuous. You're acting like, oh no, we're only stopping you because it's your one question. When you know she's trying to avoid the question, and that's why you're jumping in.
Absolutely. I just want to see that part again because, like, let alone her support of mayonnaise. That's one very revealing thing. The fact that she's a straight up big farmer simp shill, right? To me, the way she handles this part is more revealing than anything because we already knew that she supports mayonnaise. Look how she crumbled. She's not even pretending to be a fighter for the workers anymore. Look at what Dr. Cornel West doing. Dr. Cornel West is going everywhere. I saw an interview with he was on CNN. Yeah, just doing CNN interviews. He was on RBN doing Black Power Media, doing all these fucking shows. He did some boutique liberal fucking shows as well. Because Dr. Cornel West is like, nigga, it don't matter who I talk to, you are not gonna get me. Because I'm ideology sound. And that's what I believe as well. Meanwhile, AOC and their people know they need protection. They know they need protection. That's why politicians hire a job which I think shouldn't exist. There's something called a press secretary. That should not exist. What the fuck is a press secretary? You bring your ass out and answer questions, motherfucker. You are not going to convince me. Joe Biden, I saw some right-winger complain about it. He apparently 38% of his presidency was spent on vacation thus far, CJ. 38%. Now, they play this game where they all complain about vacation time. You know, they all do it. But you take all the vacation time. You take early. You take naps. You know, and they want us to believe. The ruling class want us to believe that these politicians are so busy that they can't take one day out of a week to answer questions for an hour and a half. I would say you owe at least 90 minutes a week to your constituency. That comes from Congress, Senate, and President, everyone up. But they don't do that because they can't answer those questions. So they invented this position that shouldn't exist. I'm not saying America's the only one who have it, but they created this term called a press secretary, where a press secretary, their job is to lie on behalf of the president. If you are not willing to give at least an hour, I think it should be 9 minutes. If you should be at least given an hour to explain your votes and your decisions and your bill to the populace. And if you are not able to do that, you should be disqualified to be in public office. Now, once again, that solves the ageism problem, right? Because people say they should have age limits. I don't agree with that. I don't necessarily agree with that, right? Why are people worried about the age of politicians? Because their ability to handle and answer questions, their ability to be effective. If you're old and you can't explain your policies, if you can't explain the direction of your administration, you're clearly not fit. But someone like Bernie Sanders, even though he's a gaslighting liar scumbag, Bernie Sanders can explain his position in the press conference. So I wouldn't say Bernie Sanders is too old to be senator, but Joe Biden's definitely too old to be president. You guys see how this solves the age issue? If you can't answer to your policies, right, if you're too old, if you're too fucking demented, if you can't do it, you shouldn't be serving. And if you're 91 years old and you answered all the questions rapid fire, then you should serve. It's that simple. Biden held, and no one talk about this, he held how many press conferences Biden held? Maybe 3 his entire presidency?
Maybe.
Maybe. I saw a long time ago talking about how he never hold press conferences. That show he should be disqualified. Anyway, sorry, I want to hold on around. You guys get it. I want to play this part.
Different healthcare requirements per sector.
So those workers,
that was one question, my dear. I'm so sorry.
Reinstated.
I'm so sorry. That was the one.
And
I think
this
it depends on the
sanitation workers.
I'm so sorry.
City workers.
We did the one. I'm so sorry.
I think it depends on the sector. Thank you.
Sanitation workers.
Look at this passive aggressive asshole.
He is so disgusting because you're trying to act like you're being polite when she is literally the opposite of polite. Yes. You are literally the opposite of polite. I'm so sorry, we can't answer the question. Like, get the fuck out of here. That's what I would have if I was a reporter. I would just turn to my anger track, say something. Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm gonna answer the question. You know what I'm saying?
You guys see why? And I can write a segment. We do some rapid fire segments. You guys see why civility politics is the enemy of the workers? That video I find very interesting. You see how they weaponize civility? Yeah. Oh, please, I'm sorry. I'm gonna be a fascist. I'm gonna fight against the free press. No follow question line. But I'm saying, please, I'm sorry though.
Right.
Fuck civility politics. Civility politics is used as a weapon against the workers. It's used as a shield to protect the ruling class, and that's why we harshly rejected, and we've seen it in many applications. And that video is one of the most interesting ones of it. I think that the AOC mayonnaise story, she was getting roasted from a lot of people for that as well. She was getting roasted for that and the endorsement. Not a great day on Twitter for AOC, but she don't care about the proletariat.
Yeah, that's too.
She got
like,
email from. Go ahead.
No, just gonna go piggyback off what you're saying. Everybody's kind of been getting called out lately in the last several days. A lot of people's been getting called out. We're gonna talk about Rokana got called out, got ratioed. You got AOC got called out, getting ratioed.
Yeah, this illusion is done. The illusion of the progressive.
Jen Psaki, we're gonna talk about her. Yeah, so this is great that the illusion is gone. But go ahead, Nick, if you had any final words.
Yeah, I'm just glad the illusion gone. Rokana is called out all the time. AOC called out once again. Even Jake Uger has to address it. And I'm speaking for people who may not be in discourse. There was a huge faction of progressives, even people not even significantly to my right. Like there was this large faction of people that like, why are you guys spending so much time on AOC and Bernie? Oh my God, you guys are exaggerating about how bad AOC Bernie. This is a whisper that's been in our ear ever since we started. This is the criticism that Jimmy used to get, right? That the Gray Zone used to get, that all allies used to get, right? That Lee Camp, Mark Campbell, Black Agenda Report. They be like, why are you guys being so mean to AOC and Bernie? They're the best among us. CJ, and feel free to push back on me, you don't see it. The last year, that shit is very muted. Like the pushback that I used to get for criticizing AOC and Bernie, the pushback that everyone got regarding AOC and Bernie is essentially gone. Not only is it gone, they're getting piled on.
Nina Turner's one of them. Nina Turner's one of them. She used to be, come on, guys. Now she like, nah. She even saying, because it's to a certain point. Like you can no longer, all the people who voted for them and said, vote harm reduction. Like that shit is out the window. That shit is out the window. And this is why I feel like, Nick, they have made the pivot. The NATO left is like, look. Those people we told to vote, and now we look like complete fools. We might as well go ahead and take this middle lane right here because we ain't never getting nobody to our left ever again. It's never going to happen. Breaking a strike. All of this stuff, voting for NATO expansion. She did vote for NATO expansion. Voting for Ukraine war funding. Like all these things just one after another. And now she is endorsing Joe Biden again? A year in advance? Like, come on. It's just not believable anymore.
They didn't even do the pony show this time. See, that's how you know they gave up. They know they lost the left. Remember last election when they did the pony show? They had the progressive task force.
Yeah.
You guys remember that? And we accurately called that out. I'm like, this obviously, I think that pre-RBN, I think I did it on my personal socials actually. That was pre-RBN. At the time, I was like, this is obviously a ploy to convince people that there's a leftward negotiation going on in the Biden administration. Right. I told Voss there's no way he's gonna do this shit. That's why he was trying to get me. Like, you don't know what's on the progressive tab. I'm like, nigga, I don't know because they're not gonna do it. Why should I say some shit out that's not gonna happen? But that was his big got you. But I told him it's not gonna happen. This time they gave up the left so much, they're not even going through that pony show. They're not even doing the progressive task force shit no more. Because that was the cover. We endorsing Joe Biden because of this task force. We know he's shit. We know his record's horrible, but that's what they ran on. They're not even doing that. They're like, no, we endorsing them.
They've given up. Yeah.